let's begin the setup of our aquaponic systems. The first thing you're going to do is get your foam piece and put it on the table. This is really important. It's going to sit underneath our tank and provide suspension. Basically, the tank, it's going to be really heavy when it's filled with water, and any imperfections on the surface of the table could crack the bottom piece of glass. So this foam is just going to provide that cushioning to make sure that that doesn't happen. So put our foam down on the table. The tank, before we put it on the table, you might want to give it a quick rinse, as when it comes from the factory, it might have some Windex, which the manufacturers have used to clean it, or just dust particles. It's just a good idea to give it a quick rinse before setting it up. So grab our tank and place it onto our foam piece. Make sure you're happy with the placement of the tank on the table. We recommend providing a small amount of ventilation area behind the tank, about 5 centimeters. One other thing to consider when choosing the placement of your tank is where the light post and the hydroponic system are going to be. On one side of the tank, we've attached this double-sided tape, and this is what you're going to use to attach the light post. You can choose to have the light post on either the left or the right hand side, depending on which way you orientate the tank, and that's completely fine, just so long as the light arms can reach the power point. You're going to set up the hydroponic system on the other side of the light post as well. So that means you can either have the aquaponic system on one side and the hydroponics on the other, or just mirrored. It's going to be exactly the same either way, but you just get to choose that. So make sure you keep that in mind when setting up your aquaponic system. Once it's filled with water, the tank is going to be very heavy, so you're probably not going to be able to move it. So again, make sure you're happy with the placement before we move on to the next step. Next, we're installing our undergravel filter. This is the filtration device that's going to sit at the bottom of the tank, and it filters out solids and all kinds of other stuff in our system. You're going to learn all about it in Module 3, but for now, we're just going to do the installation. The undergravel filter comes with 2 components, a mesh filter and an upright tube. They just slot together easily like this, and then the whole thing is placed in the bottom of the tank. We recommend setting it up with the tube in the back corner closest to the light arm, as this is where we're going to attach our pump, and in doing this it means we can have all of our cables in the one area. So now we're going to add our gravel. The gravel comes in a bag like this, and it's relatively large gravel compared to some that you might find in aquarium stores, and we've chosen the larger gravel so that it doesn't fall through the gaps in the mesh filter. Now it's important that you rinse your gravel before adding it to the tank, as it can be quite dirty. So the way you do that is just add it to a bucket and swill it around 3 to 4 times to get rid of any of the dust. Here's some we prepared earlier. So once you've rinsed your gravel, add it to the tank. Just pour it over the top. Just make sure to get the last of it out. Waste not, want not. Whenever you're working with aquariums, it's always handy to keep a towel on hand. All right, so now the tank's filled with gravel. We're just going to scape it. If you're familiar at all with aquariums, you know that there is a hobby aspect of it called aquascaping, and that's just about designing the interior of the tank to look really beautiful. Now, it's something you can kind of get into in your own time if you like, but for now, what we'd recommend doing is just scaping the gravel like so, just evening it out and pushing it so that it slants more towards the back. We recommend having it about 3 fingers deep in the back and 2 fingers in the front. The reason for this is it just looks more aesthetically pleasing to see a nice gradual slope of the gravel, but also when you're planting plants inside the system, you can put them in the back of the tank and they have more space for the roots to grow into. All right, so next we're going to install the lights.